Hey guys, Addy here with an update on the Raceflight1 Torrent. So I did take the Torrent apart, and my very first, very quick, very unpleasant surprise is that Horizon's website is wrong. The ESC and the flight controller that the Torrent comes with is actually a 25 millimeter spacing, not 20 by 20 again, as it clearly states on their website. I had actually done research before I bought my Torrent, because I was intending to do this. I wanted to put a Spark and a Millivolt on it. The Spark and the Millivolt are 20 millimeter. Pretty much everything is 20 millimeter. There is a few exceptions of aftermarket options for 25, but it is not common. So basically the options became drill out the stock Torrent frame, which is kind of a floppy donkey dick anyways, or I was offered this super cute little 2-inch hyperlite prototype frame. So what they're doing here is basically a hyperlite stock replacement for a Torrent frame if you want to run stretch decks. And on the bottom we have 20 mil holes and 25 millimeter holes. So in my mind that gave me the option to mount the FC, mount the ESC, and still use the Torrent stock top. I did have to shave the sides of the ESC and flight controller so the smaller screws could make their way past it to go into the stack, and I did also have to kind of round them off a little bit to get them further away because the screws are on top of each other. But now with only, you know, a little bit of staring time and maybe 20 minutes of work, this already, it all fits. That's a bolt, or I'm sorry, a Spark, which is a mini bolt, basically. That's a millivolt there, and this is the stock Torrent camera receiver assembly. This screws right on. The motors then sit in front, and I believe the geometry is going to work out, so I can still run prop guards. It's going to be effing tight, but everything seems to work out. When I saw this prototype frame in the store, it didn't have prop guards on it. That's one of the main things people do, is take their prop guards off. But if you watch my video called like Tiny Torrent, Tiny Yard, Fast Acro, or whatever I put up a few days ago, my yard's brutal to fly in, and I'm also going through my house. I'm keeping my damn prop guards. That's why I bought this thing. I know it's going to be a nightmare to tune with the prop guards. You can see them vibrate like in your video feed, like as you crank the throttle. Even with brand new, I'm now running Furious FPV props, brand new, still the same shit. So it's going to be a challenge, but I want prop guards. These frames will be available from Piroflip. I think they're pretty close. I think if you guys show some interest, you'll get them a little quicker. Just hit up Serg or hit up Piroflip. But it was easy. It was actually a lot easier than I thought, particularly easier than trying to drill out a stock Torrent frame. And then you'd still run into the same issue, whereas when you do a 20 by 20 M3 screw, there's no way to get the 25 by 25 M2 stack to go on top of the flight controller without figuring something out, which I was able to do. Let me know if you guys need detailed pictures. I was even thinking about doing a little RC groups thread, but I might be a little lazy for that. This frame is one of the strongest things I've felt, especially for being 2 millimeters and being this strong. Like, I can't twist it, I can barely bend it. The Torrent frame is kind of a joke as far as flexi goes. Some of that is the prop guards too, but that's just the frame. So this should be a welcome improvement. This took out a lot of my time and trying to borrow a drill press or some shit like that, and I'm excited to be moving forward. These hyperlite frames, you don't have to do a Millivolt and Spark. You can literally just undo your motors, undo your flight controller, and move your whole Torrent onto this frame because it has the holes for it. It's really cool, and I can't imagine they're going to be much money. And stretch decks always seems to handle better, in my opinion, because you're biasing the weight to where your battery is. That's what we need anyways. So there's an update. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I intend to make these for people. It's kind of what I do. So if this one comes out really good, I will be offering a service where I will convert people's Torrents to Raceflight1, or convert Torrents to mini tiny cute hyperlights, or you know, just tuning in general. I'm good with black box, and I got my Torrent flying pretty much as good as it was gonna, but it needed a lot of soft mounting, and it's really hard to soft mount because the prop guards touch the camera, and the camera is mounted to the stack with the flight controller. None of this makes any sense. But again, there's ways around it, and I'm going to keep pushing forward here, but there's an update for everybody. Bye!